another Thursday, and thank you for joining us today. Thank you for sparing 1 hour of your time on a Thursday. I know you guys are busy, but we're glad that you're able to join us today. Our topic would be another AI topic. It's very informative and insightful, so I hope you enjoy this webinar. First, our housekeeping rules. You can interact as much as you want. You can use the poll button to answer our polls. We have three of them today. You can ask questions in our Q&A. That's the question mark button. And you can also give us a thumbs up or a laugh button if you find this webinar fun. And of course, your questions are anonymous, so don't worry. Just ask away. And again, this is in listen only mode, so everyone is muted, and you can adjust your screen and audio for your own preference. And this webinar will be available within 24 hours on our website, imhcmconsulting.com, or in our YouTube channel. And we have that up. And that includes our JD Edwards um, HCM Bites, or our how-to videos. So let's start by introducing our host for today. First, we have, of course, our legendary Tammy Castro, CEO and co-founder of iAM. She loves cooking and baking, and she's so crazy over health and wellness these days. Hello, Tammy.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. It's great to be here. And I will just say Chana has definitely lined up some incredible information for you around AI. So listen up. And by the end of this, you will have a better idea if you're ready for it or not. So thank you for being here.
Of course, our data scientist extraordinaire, Chana VanNice, of Application Inc., and also of IMHCM. And she loves working with her dog, Ayoka, a Belgian Malinois.
Yes, my Belgian Malinois. Hi, everyone. Thank you for attending. I hope you get something out of this. We're going to be flying pretty high around that 50,000 foot range, and we'll go down to about 20 here and there. Hope you get some good nuggets out of this.
That's great. It's like you've joined us on our very own airplane. We're going to go to 50, then down to 20. There might be some bumps in between,
Yeah.
but we'll be okay. Okay, I will do this slide. Just who we are for those who haven't attended one of our webinars before. We like to just let you know we are a boutique consulting firm focusing on HR payroll technology. Been in the industry myself a young 30 years, and our team has, with all of us, hundreds of years of experience. Basically, our passion, you can see on the screen all the little types of services we offer, but really our passion is to help you fall back in love with whatever current HR software you're using. And if we can help you fall back in love with it by making it work the way you need it to, then we help you find the one that you will love. And so our bread and butter used to be always JD Edwards. We are still and will forever support the JD Edwards HR payroll applications, but we have also adopted basically any HR payroll software a company brings to us, as far as if that's what they're using, we have resources who can help. So we now will work with most clients on any HR payroll software. So that's a little bit about us and what we offer. And obviously, we do these webinars for free because we are trying to educate folks. But if there's any help or anything we can do to help you in your journey with your HRIS, we invite you to reach out. So let's start now with our first poll. So what we wanted to know is, what is your current role at the organization you're at? So if you open your polls, that's that little 3 lines in the bottom of your menu, and you can answer those questions. We will share that information, but it does help us to know, do we have technical folks on the call, business analysts, users? Are you an HR director? Those kind of things. So go ahead and answer that poll right now. And yeah, we're getting some some answers here. Business analyst is a popular one, Chana, so that'll be good.
Mm.
We've got a consultant here. We've got no data scientists yet, but you are one, right, Chana? You are the data scientist. And some solution architects. Okay, looks like that's all we've got so far on those answers. So the next poll that we're going to launch is, where are you in your AI journey, right? So we gave you some fun answers. I just got up and you're having coffee. So basically you're nowhere. You're currently exploring. And I can't read the other one because it's cut off, but you guys see the answers there if you could give that a shot. So far, I'm not seeing anybody that's totally lost. So we might have some folks that'll understand a lot of what you're saying.
Awesome.
All right, over to you, Chana, and I will turn off my camera just for the sake of connectivity.
Okay.
And interrupt you
And
with questions, I'm sure.
that is just fine. Before I go much further, I'm just going to tell you real quick. I've been in the industry for quite some time. Back in the green screen days is where I started my software engineering. I'm a data scientist, and in big data engineering, I did back in the day when I got into it, there wasn't much choice for learning, and I was with the John Hopkins Big Data Specialization. There were 2 million of us when I started, and about 200 of us completed. I think all it says about me is I'm stubborn. So, what I did manually back in the day, I get a little bit, it's faster now, which is great. So, I'm going to turn my camera off as well. We're going to jump right into our agenda. So, we're going to take a look at what's possible with AI. We're going to look at the market, the generative AI and their costs, traits of a successful AI initiative. And then we're going to move into BI versus AI. We'll take a look at those commonalities and differences between the two. We're also going to look at the failure rate. Then we'll take a look at how your data impacts your AI. And then we've got a couple of questions to help you get started and to find out, is AI suited for your company needs? I have a couple of use cases that we're going to dive into, and we'll take a look at those with AI and human resources. We'll look at where to go next, some of those tools. And for fun, time providing, we're going to take a look at the future of AI, the Gartner predictions, and I even asked ChatGPT some of their predictions. And then we'll finish up with a Q&A. So don't panic. So looking at this slide, cyborg, when you hear that term, you probably think of the future. A traditional definition is a cyborg is a being with both organic and artificial parts that are controlled by feedback. A more broad definition would be a cyborg is anyone who relies heavily on technology to function. Many of you have teenagers that you would say are cyborgs. Um, so here we carry a device, our phones with us. We've been using the AI for quite a while. Think of your predictive text when you're texting. So we may not be a physical cyborg, but we are using AI to make us a little more cyborg-like. If you're a Trekkie like me, resistance is truly futile, and you have been assimilated. So now we're going to look at AI, the artificial intelligence. So again, I have said we're going to take that 50,000-foot view. We're going to be dipping down. Just ride with me. We will hit cruising altitude soon. So AI is evolving. It's deeply integrated into a wide range of industries. So AI transforms how we work, communicate, make decisions. So there's AI technologies, and those are like machine learning, natural language processing, computer vision. And when I say computer vision, think of facial recognition. They're driving our innovation across industries like healthcare and finance, manufacturing. And in those early days when you were using Google, searching the internet, you were using AI. Also think of Siri, Alexa. So AI has been around for quite some time, but what we're using today is called generative AI. So where we used to say, let me Google that, now we're saying things, oh, it's okay. Now we're saying things like ChatGPT, I'll ask them, I'll ask Grok, and what does Claude say? So we'll move on to the market. Sorry, I popped that up. Um, with the AI market, we are looking by this Christmas, we're estimated to have a globally spent around $600 billion on AI. That's business and consumer. By 2034, AI is expected to reach around over $3 trillion. So obviously the AI market isn't going anywhere anytime soon. It's here to stay. Now take a look at that image that I used on my slide. That image was created with DALL-E. DALL-E is OpenAI's image creator. It is what is called a multimodal model. That's a mouthful. So it's an image creator that you use text to create your image. So of course, if I was doing analytics, I would not be using an image creator, but I wanted a cute little image for my slide. And if you look closely, you're going to see 2024 is repeated on the timeline. You're going to see the amount labels. Those aren't correct. Look in the top right corner, you see tapillion and not trillion. So, but it did do the slope right. So remember this image. We're going to we're going to be coming back to this image later for how AI can fail.
Mm-hmm.
So let's jump right into where and what is happening now with AI. Well, recently, it's about a month ago, Tesla had their big event. It was the We Robot Event 2024. So this event, it propelled us closer to those sci-fi movies that many of us grew up watching. I am a sci-fi person. And at this event, we saw Elon get into a robotaxi, cybercab, and he was transported to the main stage. The taxi, it paused for bicyclists going by. It stopped at a stop sign, turned its blinker on. It was pretty cool to watch. And Elon showed off the robotaxi, showed off a fleet of robotaxis, showed off the robo van. Now, the image on the left, that is the robo van. Now, if you watch those Tron movies, notice that sleek image look. Elon is a fan of the Tron movies. And in
Mm-hmm.
the upper right corner, yeah, and I think Tammy, you've got some. You were reading up, I think, on the
Yeah, and
robo van.
honestly, well, the robo van really, the consensus is it looks more like a bus. So just thought I'd throw that out there because it does kind of look like a bus,
It
right?
it does. You can go out. I At the end of the webinar, I'm going to put some links so you can go out and see this the We Robot event. It's a little more than an hour and a half long, but it is really interesting, really cool to watch. But the interior of that RoboVan is it's really nice, nicer than my car. Take a look in that top right corner. You're going to see Optimus. I'm really ready for this. So Optimus, that is Tesla's robot. If you're not familiar, at the event, and it's like I said, it's cool to watch. You will see Optimus. He's interacting with the public. He's dancing, even being a bartender, serving drinks. And Elon did say Optimus is going to be available soon. I have my chore list going. So at this event, Elon, he introduced us to the future that is today. And
The
next, oh, go ahead. I'm
is
sorry. Yeah.
sorry, just to be clear here, Optimus, your lovely robot in the top right, is being conveyed as your in-home assistant, right? Like you could get a robot in your home
Yes.
and have it drive your kids to school and all these other crazy things, right?
Oh, he even mentioned mowing your lawn, which I don't want to I don't want to take the grass clippings out of my robot. I really do want the I want him to clean.
Me, I would have them clean and maybe make me a meal once in a while, but
Oh,
okay.
exactly. Save time. So
Mhm.
the next AI I want to introduce you to is hybrid intelligence. So here, this is McKinsey and Company's AI Quantum Black, and we can see the artist Sogon Chung. She's using a Bayesian probability model that was generated by Causal Next. Now, Causal Next, that's a software library that data scientists can use to analyze those data sets and build models that consider that cause and effect as part of a human machine collaboration. So here we can see the artist interacting with the robot. So in that upper right image, you see the artist applying the wearable device. It's a temporal device. And you see the artist and the mechanical arm, they work in tandem. They work in that cause and effect way. They created artwork. As you can see, some of that artwork displayed behind her. I'm also going to be putting a link to the website. So the video is embedded. I didn't want to take any chances with the connectivity because I am in a rural area. and but you can go out and watch. It's very informative. It's really interesting to watch the cause and effect between human and machine. So I can see and imagine that real soon we're going to be seeing surgeons wearing such a device and using augmented reality, allowing that surgeon to see the areas during a surgery that were previously hidden. And so there are new areas of AI that's being created every day. So that big challenge that we all have is staying informed and what is possible with AI.
Amen. Wow, that's great.
So I mentioned we're in generative AI. So what is that? That is a type of AI that can create new content such as text and videos and audio, even music. I have listed here some AI platforms. This is not all, but there's some. So think of ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Claude. These are generative AI. So now we're going to do some fun. So we're going to move to a cute little image I have here. So meet my barbarian. Actually, it's a half hobbit, half barbarian. So I used Dolly earlier. I pointed out that image earlier. So here I use Dolly to create a role-based character that you might see in a video game. So I literally entered the prompt, create a half hobbit, half muscular barbarian in a medieval town carrying a large club. Dolly came back with two images and I chose this one. I thought he could take some damage. So, oh, remember I mentioned that image earlier and how that bar graph, it was an example of using the wrong model for the use case. So the use case that building that character dolly worked great. So far, we've already learned two things. Staying informed with the new technologies is important, and matching the use case to the correct model can be the difference between your success and failure of your AI project. Now, I keep saying model. So in the next slide, we will see an AI model definition. So short and concise, AI model is an algorithm trained on data to recognize patterns and make predictions. That's a very short definition. But the trend is AI models. These AI companies, they have their current models, and the trend is you're paying for. Maybe you're subscribing to ChatGPT. You're paying $20 a month for that current model. Current model is ChatGPT 4.0. Um, Earlier models like ChatGPT 2 or 3, those are free and you can download those. So I just wanted to point that out. And when I mention models and the resources, one I'd like to highlight is Hugging Face. Now, Hugging Face is an open repository for AI models. It's a community place where you can download existing models. So I'm going to take a look at, so there's a lot going on here. Don't panic. What I did is I just grabbed a screenshot. I went out to Hugging Face. So it's just this repository that you can go out and grab existing models. So I clicked on models, the tabs up at the top, and I started searching, okay, what technology do I need? And this is where um, your data scientists and your AI engineers can help. So on the left, you see the blue arrow. It's pointing to natural language processing, and I chose text classification. And the pink arrow is pointing to all the models. These models, they're done. They're created, they are trained, they are ready to go, they're ready to be integrated. Now you can choose to customize them if you want, but they are ready to go. And I can see in the future where we're kind of comparing AI models in the same way that Gartner compares ERPs. So again,
Mm.
your data scientist and your team can help you choose. So now let's look at the cost. So the cost to build a generative AI model. So McKinsey recently estimated that it costs $10 million to customize an existing model. I just showed you some free existing models. But to customize it, you can be looking upwards of $10 million. Now, to build one from the ground up, you're looking at around that $200 million range. Not cheap.
No, not at all.
Not at all. So let's take a look at one of the most expensive, and we'll talk about what drives up that cost. So what I'm showing you here is Colossus. So X, which was formerly Twitter, X has an AI, Grok, and Elon Musk, he has a data center, computer center, and he has it in Memphis, Tennessee. And the image on the left, that is a aisleway in a data hall. So there's there's many. And if you look at that tower, the vertical white, that tower is holding 64 GPUs per rack. So this Colossus, and he named it Colossus again. Elon likes sci-fi movies and X-Men, Colossus, that's kind of where he got the term. So
Mhm.
Colossus is liquid cooled to keep it going. It's really neat. There's a video for looking inside Colossus, and I'll put that also at the end of the webinar. Now, Colossus is a supercomputer. Colossus uses around 100,000 H100 NVIDIA GPUs. So an H100 GPU, it's going to cost you around that $25,000 range. And you take that times 100,000, you're looking at $2.5 billion. Phase one of Colossus was $3 to $4 billion, and it doubled quickly. Now, obviously, our organizations, they're not going to be into the supercomputer league, but I'm wanting to emphasize hardware and energy play a big role in your AI project.
And I think that's why, as I'm looking at this, a couple things come to my mind. One, my husband told me, when you ask a question in ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude or whatever, it uses up, I don't know how many gallons of water. And I go, what? And I said, why water? Well, you're saying these are liquid cooled. I'm guessing that's why. Would that be a true statement?
That would be, it is, and it's also trying to say how much power it takes. So, for instance, and in that video, you can see Tennessee um, power wasn't enough as Elon was bringing in more GPUs. And so he had to bring in some really massive generators. So the power is just exceeding if you equated that to water. But I bet what he was referencing here is that liquid cooled. They found that air just wasn't enough to keep it cooled. And
Yeah. And
also, what?
oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Nope. You finish your thought because mine's moving on to something
Oh,
else.
okay. I just wanted to point out, see the bottom right, that is Ethernet. So there is so much Ethernet, and they found that that was just faster and a lot better for Colossus. So whoever ran those, kudos.
Can you
So we'll move on.
imagine? Can you imagine building
Yeah.
this though? It blows my mind. So the other thing is, so you've heard anybody who's part of our webinar right now has probably done some of their own research and probably heard, about, oh, the need for energy. There's not enough electricity. That's why we need to build. I mean, there are some of these billionaires that are building their own nuclear power plants for their own ability to power
Mhm.
their AI machines. Like it's pretty
Yes.
intense. Yeah, far-reaching AI is.
Yes. Even Elon with the GPUs, he's created the TPU, the Tesla processing. So it's they're just these, like you said, the billionaires are. Well, I'll just do it myself, which is pretty much what Elon did.
What's GPU? He took the G and changed it to T. What's G?
Yeah, it's the graphical.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's a graphical processor.
Thank you for
So
being an
let's
ultra
take a
geek and knowing
yeah.
that.
I am a little geeky. Sorry, I
No
am. I'm a
problem there. I
nerd.
love that.
Um, so let's take a look at some of the reasons why it's so expensive. Um, Outside of the GPUs, there is long-term commitment. There is, and when I say long-term commitment, years, just like with the robotaxi and the autonomous driving, that has taken years. Not everyone's going to jump into that, but it does have a longer term commitment in AI projects. They pull folks from different departments, your IT, of course, your data scientists, if you have any AI and software engineers, but you're going to get your lawyers involved. You're going to have data analysts. You're going to have your executive team. So there are lots of different departments that will be involved and make up your AI team. Your infrastructure, we just talked about that infrastructure. So we talked about GPUs, but there's also the cloud computing and the storage. Also limited AI talent. So your strong AI talent is pretty much with those companies that I highlighted, the AI platforms. But there is talent. It is coming up in the ranks, but that will contribute to your AI project being expensive. And also like compliance and security. They all contribute to the overall cost. So I want to point out that AI projects, they typically have more eyes on the projects because of the three things that I highlight: multiple departments, the cost, and the longer commitment. So what are some traits for a successful AI initiative? So looking at these, what I found is I I found that they all had a clear vision and alignment with the business goal. So making sure you're using your AI that aligns with your business and what is your goal for it. We talked about the robust technological infrastructure, having strong AI talent, risk tolerance. And what I mean there is not only are you going to have your employees be trained in adopting your AI, but you may also have to look at your consumers and help them adopt your AI. Again, the long term commitment, being willing to have that long term commitment on your AI project because your AI model is going to be built. It has to be trained on data and then it's going to be retrained just to help it get better. And then ethical considerations, safety standards, and the one that's near and dear to my heart that I would highlight is you need access to high quality data and high impact data. So when I bring up data, some folks tend to think in the JD Edwards type organizations. They tend to think of BI, the business intelligence. And so we're going to look at, from a project perspective, what is the difference between BI and AI. But to do that, we're going to first look at those commonalities. So both BI and AI, they rely on data to generate insights, and that supports that decision making and improving the business outcomes. And they also both, they try to optimize that efficiency and drive informed decisions. And within your organizations, looking at those measurable outcomes, integration. So they both have that in common. But what are some differences? Well, a good way to think, oh, I'm sorry, Tammy, was there anything
Oh,
you wanted to speak to on the commonalities? Okay.
um, no.
Yeah, that's okay. So we'll move into kind of helping you understand the difference between BI and AI. So BI helps you understand what happened, looks at historical data, where AI helps you predict what will happen and automates actions based on that prediction. So that's just kind of a simplified way to look at the difference between the two.
It's good stuff.
And looking at the failure rates. So I was going out there kind of looking at what caused your some of the BI projects to fail, and the rates came back at about 60 to 80% failure rate. And I list some reasons under the BI failure rate: poor data quality, unclear objectives, insufficient executive support, and those are kind of common in projects. And comparing that to the AI failure rate, the AI failure rate's a bit more. So it's estimated to be around 70 to 80%, but I think it's a little bit higher. I kind of alluded to some of the reasons that pulling across um, multiple departments and the time, but some reasons for that failure rate, again, really highlighting the lack of clear business goals, insufficient or poor quality data, overestimation of capabilities of your AI, lack of AI expertise, resistance to change. So, data is not only a common contributor for both of your BI and AI projects, but it's also the main ingredient for both. So, I've mentioned data, and I'm going to talk more about data.
Yeah, and I'll say real quick, I attend a lot of different podcasts myself, and one I was in from an HR perspective was with a Workday executive and some of the onboarding tasks. But the overarching message I'm hearing, Chana, across all podcast channels that are doing anything related to AI is, in fact, data, meaning they are emphasizing the importance of data being evaluated and good data. Because if your data is bad, your
Yes,
AI isn't going to be able to do things with it that you want it to do. So it kind of reminds me of the good old fashioned, hey guys, we're coming in to implement something or upgrade or do this or that. And how many times it came down to the data was messed up and we had to fix the data before we could do anything. So for those of you on
exactly.
this call, yeah, that are looking to do AI, your data, start cleaning that up now, because that'll be, as she's going to prove in this webinar today, the importance of data. And without good data, you're handicapped. You're literally, your hands are tied for proper AI usage.
Exactly. Definitely. Data is huge, literally. And I have here the world is expected to generate 140 zettabytes of data. That's 1 trillion gigabytes. And that's per year. And to put that in perspective, 125 terabytes per person on Earth. So data is exploding. The reason is we have those Internet of Things. Think of your smart refrigerator, your smart washer and dryer. You have social media, cloud services, and we are generating 400 million terabytes of data each and every day across various sources. So data is essential. to your AI initiative. It's going to fuel your model training. It's going to improve the accuracy of your model, and it's going to drive those actionable insights for informed decision making. So let's look at two examples I'm going to show you here are a lack of high impact data and sufficient high impact data. I'm going to get to what is high impact data in just a moment, but here's two examples. One is the IBM Watson for Oncology. So the goal here was to help doctors make better decisions, and it was going to leverage Watson's ability to process those large data sets. Think of medical records, trial data, clinical trial data, the research papers. And there was just a lack of that high impact data. It wasn't diverse. They had a problem with incomplete and outdated data. There was an absence of that high impact data. And what happened is the providers didn't adopt it due to the recommendations, because the whole point of this was to recommend treatments. The recommendations was too generic and it was incomplete. So they just abandoned it.
Mm.
Now, on the other hand, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm just making my noises going,
Yeah.
hmm.
Yes. Well, and like you said, Tammy, your data is very, very important with an AI project. So you were
Hmm.
preached to, I'm sure, for a while about data. It's more. So looking at Google's, they had sufficient, and I would hope so. We've all heard about the Google data farms. But here, AI was used to power the predictive maintenance in wind farms. So what Google was doing, it was using that predictive maintenance system for those wind turbines, and it was aimed at increasing the efficiency of those wind farms. So there was plenty of high impact data, and it was used to predict things like the equipment failing, reducing that downtime. So data is very crucial for your AI project. Let's talk about what is high impact data and what do I mean by that. High impact data, it needs to be relevant. It needs to be high quality. So there's high impact and high quality. High quality is clean, accurate, consistent. It needs to be feature rich. And what I mean by features is those individual measurable properties. It's those characteristics of data. It needs to have volume and timely, real time, current, up to date. And it needs to be that context rich. And that is those relationships between the variables. So a model that's trained on a large, diverse, and well-represented data set, it's going to perform better in the real world. You're going to have the outcomes you're looking for.
Mm.
Okay, where do you find your data? Well, your data lives all over the place. There are two types of data. There's more, more than two types of data. I'm going to keep it really high level here. You got your structured data. Think of JD Edwards. Then you have your unstructured data. So think of your IoT. I mentioned smart refrigerators, your image data, videos. So you have these different types of data. And what you can do is start leveraging your internal data because it's often rich and it's immediately accessible. And two areas that you'll probably be looking to find your data, you probably already have one, and that's your data warehouse. In data warehouses, they consolidate the data, takes it from multiple sources, puts it in a central repository, and it's nice, neat, clean, and it meets those primary requirements of having that nice, high quality data. Another location would be your data lake. Okay, so your data lake, it's your central repository that stores raw, unstructured data, semi-structured data, and structured data. And think of a lake, where we see stumps and fish and frogs. It's it's got everything in it. So your AI projects really like your data lakes as well, due to their flexibility, support for that unstructured data, and the scalability. Now you can take a hybrid approach where you're using both your data warehouse and your data lake. Such an approach that's going to be called, you might hear people refer to that as a lake house. So lake houses give AI a diverse set of data to be trained on.
Mm. Yeah, those new terms,
Mhm.
when, I've been introduced to them recently, and I thought, because, back, 10, 15 years ago, the term big data was what everybody used. Now, all of a sudden, we're talking about lakes and lake houses, and I'm like, okay, got to keep up with
Yes,
these terms.
yes. Microsoft with Fabric, it really loves lake houses and talks about. I
Mm,
think for them, they have their one lake, putting everything into one lake. So
okay.
now you'll be hearing those terms more and more.
Yeah.
Now, the big question is, can AI replace ERP? Well, it can't fully replace it right now, but what it can do is it can really enhance the functionality of an ERP. So it helps with making those routine tasks smarter, more accurate, predictive, without replacing the core functions that the ERPs were built for. So, Angela, I'll turn it over to you. There's another poll.
Yes. So after all that we've learned so far, are you ready for AI? So let's launch the poll. Yes, bring it on. I'm still afraid. No, I still don't like AI.
Oh,
And honestly, for some of you on this call, that have been engaging with these AI webinars we've been doing, I don't know if you're going back and talking to your teams, or how you're maneuvering through this, because a lot of folks are just trying to figure it out, and they're doing their day job. So how do you stay on top of this whole new topic? It's really a new role within your organization, if you think about it. So I just think it's great that you, one, want to learn, because I think, we have to, and two, that you would, maybe if you've got weekly touch point meetings with your leaders, or you're connecting with your department on a regular basis, maybe be that person speaking about it if they aren't, because it is important to say, what's everybody thinking of this? Who's using it? Are you using it now in the business? Are we wanting to look into it? Most companies are not going to be able to afford the billions of dollars required to customize your own AI tool. So partnering with those who are doing it well is going to be a big piece of that. And the education you're receiving in moments like this is going to help you as well. Because what you're going to learn, as you are already, is data is a huge piece of AI's success.
well said.
So it looks like everybody's saying, bring it on. No one is afraid. Good job. I love this
All
group.
right, let's go for it. Okay. At a recent conference, several companies were asked, so are you using AI? And so many companies came back with almost this exact verbiage. I want to use AI, but I just don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, I've been at those conferences.
So I took a look at some questions, and again, this is just a sampling. There are lots of questions, and you can use one of those AI platforms. Go ask Claude. Ask him, what are some questions that I should be asking to prepare my team? So some questions might be, does your company deal with those repetitive tasks? This is where AI can shine. Think of the invoice processing. Do I need automation? AI, again, it really shines with that automation. Do I have sufficient high quality data? So, again, we talked about high quality being clean and accurate. Is your data infrastructure powerful and fast? So, we've discussed that. We saw one of the top ones, but there are places you can go, consultants, you can find some infrastructure out there if you don't have it in-house. Is your data centralized and is it easily accessible? So we talked about your data warehouses, your data lakes. Can you access that? Are you
Mhm.
protecting personal or proprietary information? So I'm going to take a step back. I showed you the AI platforms, Claude, Stability, AI, Perplexity. When you're using these platforms, do not put your company's information out there that keep it really general.
Mhm.
The AI does forget, supposedly, but the AI is a company. There's a company, OpenAI or Stability or um, McKinsey Black. They may not be forgetting. I just showed you how much data is being collected. So keep that in mind whenever you're talking to your chats.
So
And
let's
another
talk about that.
question. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, let's talk
Yeah.
about that for just a second because we brought it up in the past on our some of our first few AI webinars, the importance of data privacy and the fact that, oh, by the way, did you know this is open sourced? What does that mean? And you start dumping things in there. Like one guy, he didn't know. So he put a whole spreadsheet of his company's financials out there with all their data and information, and just about
Mm.
lost his job because it is not kept safe. So I guess I just want, if you don't mind speaking to that for a moment, and explain, even for my understanding, if I'm out there using AI, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude to help me with content creation and all these different tasks, what is at risk and who is like, what is happening with that data? Where does it go? Who's looking at it? You know what I mean?
Right. So your AI model, it it's not retaining that history. However, like let's say you're using ChatGPT 4 and you have all these conversations and you can even go back if and it will list them like the previous 7 days, the conversations you had, last 30
Mhm.
days, and you can bring back up that conversation and you can continue that conversation. So even though it says it's not retaining the data, it is. And just a little kind of go take you back many, many years ago when I was creating a credit card system, an authorization piece of it. Um, I was working on, and supposedly the back in the day, and I mean way back in the day, the companies weren't keeping that information, but they were. That company like Visa, they were
Mm,
realizing, hey, let me go put stock into Gap because there are so many teenagers that are going into the Gap store. Also, Warren Buffett kind of used that too.
yeah,
But there is somebody, the data's there. And so somebody is looking at it. Okay, all of our things with our phone, our pictures, everything's going to the cloud. And pie in the sky, it's all up there. But
right,
someone has that. Apple. so,
right. So
so just,
someone's scrubbing that to then either send us the ads. That's why we all of a sudden be
mm-hmm.
talking about, you know, monkey food, and next thing you know you're getting ads for monkey food. I mean, just all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
that helps me a
Yes.
little bit. If anybody else has a
Mm.
deeper question, please throw it in the chat. We'll answer it.
Yeah, so I do tend to think sci-fi movies, so Minority Report. Not quite that scary. We're not going there, folks, but
Believe me, I've
but
already thought of how
we
many
yeah.
movies that this is in.
Exactly. Oh, so when I was putting together these questions, I thought, well, let me look at JD Edwards and where I can use AI in JD Edwards. So give me some areas. So the looking at those areas, we can use predictive analytics. Think of forecasting demand, inventory levels, those sales trends. Using your chat bots, they can enhance your customer service and support. I'm sure you guys, if you've opened a support ticket, even with your dryer, with Samsung, you're working with a virtual assistant already. Process automation. One of the things you're probably going to hear is RPA, and that is robotic process automation. That's you'll see that there's some tools that you can find that focus with the RPA. Think of those repetitive tasks, invoice processing, data entry, your report generation, financial analytics. That would be automating those financial reporting the fraud detection. So I'm not going to go over everything here. I'll end with the supply chain optimization, but I do have a story there. That would be optimizing those logistics, your supply chain management and procurement. I was talking with Tammy earlier where we will see these consumer machines. And that is, let's take the Google wind farms, using that predictive maintenance. It was using that, looking to when's it time to do maintenance, and it was reducing that downtime. Well, maybe that consumer machine, it places that order, it procures the part with company B. Company B is using a consumer machine to take in that order and go ahead and process. So there is going to be this machine to machine communication going on, and we are going to be seeing that. So that's kind of another term to put in your hat, consumer machines.
Very good. And I just want to let you know we've got 9 minutes left on this webinar. So
Okay. Oh,
I
okay, okay.
know.
Let's blast through some use cases. I looked at
Okay.
human resources and AI, so let's just jump right in. Quickly, here's some areas that you can look at human resources. You can look at this webinar anytime, go back and look at it. Let's first take a look at Unilever. Thank you, sorry. So we'll take a look at Unilever and look at their problem. They had challenges in hiring new talent. Due to the volume of those applications, they solved it with automating and optimizing hiring process, making it faster, more efficient, bias-free. Now, how did they do that? Some of the technologies that they used were AI-powered video interviews. They used game-based assessments, natural language processing to screen those resumes, and predictive analytics. So the results that they saw were a 75% reduced hiring time. They saw an increase, a 16% increase in diversity, cost saving, better candidate experience. The next use case I want to look at is IBM's. So IBM, they used an employee retention tool. It was AI powered, and their challenge was with employee turnover. So particularly in those competitive tech roles. I mentioned AI, data scientists, your AI software engineers. So their solution was to take an AI powered predictive analytics tool that analyzes employee data to identify patterns and behaviors associated with attrition. So how did they do that? Those technologies they used, and this is some, they used data analysts, predictive analysis, modeling, and their results were a 25% reduced employee turnover, cost savings, they increased their employee satisfaction, and they created a tool that was scalable. Our last use case that we're going to take a look at is DHL. They used an employee engagement analysis. So the problem that they had was improving the employee engagement and the satisfaction of their employees across the globe. So the solution that they did is they implemented an AI to analyze employee feedback from surveys, emails, performance reviews, and some of the technologies that they used were natural language processing. You're going to see that quite a bit, especially with HR. They used a particular machine learning. They used supervised learning, so it was learning over labeled data, and they were using predictive analytics and data integration. The results were improved retention rates and higher employee satisfaction scores. So these are some use cases. I wanted to highlight where we go from here. So look at leveraging those pre-built AI tools. Think of your cloud-based AI services, open source, open source AI tools, TensorFlow, PyTorch. Sorry, I'm speaking a little ahead of myself. Your
Trying to speak with English today.
Yeah, I'm trying. I need to have an AI. I should have had it speak for me. So take a look at those SaaS solutions. That would be chatbots, ChatSpot.ai, Zendesk, I think it's Hyperformer, and automating those repetitive tasks, maybe using Zapier or, and I'm not going to say this right, Workato, or Data Robot. Those are kind of those low code, no code tools. Analytics tools, utilize those, your Power BI, Tableau, and take advantage of those pre-trained models that are pre-trained. They're ready to go. They just need to be integrated. I showed you Hugging Face. Google has an AI model garden you can go select from. And looking at the time here, let's touch real quick on the future of AI. So the future of AI is going to be focusing on combining the innovation and attention to ethics. And you can go ahead, we'll go on to looking at the Gartner. We're just going to breeze on into that. Gartner just had their symposium and they threw out some predictions. One of the predictions, so we're close to 2025. So in a year from that, they're predicting 20% of their organizations is going to use AI to flatten their organizational structure, eliminating more than half of current middle management positions. Take a look at 2028. I mentioned, and I think I mentioned AI agents. So we're going to see that. I was listening to the NVIDIA CEO. He was talking about agentic, I don't say it right, agents. These AI agents, they do one role, they do one job really well. Maybe they look at images and only images. Another agent looks at videos and only videos. So these are AI agents. They're expecting about a 25% breach with those AI agents due to agent abuse, which is then going to call for a demand of guardian agents. Also in 2028, they're predicting the large enterprises are going to be deploying AI to manipulate, measure employee mood and behaviors. And they're going to say it's all in the name of profit. So I'm looking at the time here. I want to just go on. There was some chat GPT predictions. We're just going to breeze past there. They're looking at artificial general intelligence hitting at 2024 at 2040. That's when AI gains a conscience. I think we're closer. 2050, they're looking at artificial superintelligence. That's when AI surpasses human intelligence. Think we're closer. Chat GPT's predictions were pretty biased, I think. They trained on their data. So whenever I looked at the ASI, I asked the question on, so we'll look at that next. Excuse me. So I asked the question, when ASI happens, do you think AI will govern humans? ChatGPT came
Mm.
back with a very diplomatic response. I'm not even going to read it, but basically it said humans are going to have these ethical concerns, so it's going to take a collaborative approach. I found that quite interesting. So, in summary here, I would like to say it's not just are we ready for AI? How can we prepare to harness it fully? So AI is transforming and it's advancing. And it's not only important to be ready for AI, but we need to be ready to lead with it. So this concludes my portion. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you, Chana. Very informative. I didn't see any additional questions come into the chat yet. So yeah, claps. Thanks for the claps.
Thank
And
you.
I will just say, because I know Angela will close us out with more details, but I just want you all to know, Chana is truly a data scientist, ultra geek. She's extraordinary. She loves it. If you guys have questions, you need help, reach out to us. We'd love to have a conversation, just see where you're at. If there's anything we can do to help you or point you in the right direction, we are here for you. So you've got that information on the screen. You can either reach out to her directly or through IMHCM Consulting's website or our emails that some of you already have. So with that, thank you for your time today. Angela, I'll let you close us out, and I wish everybody a blessed November.
Thank you, everyone. Please be reminded to receive an email that will contain our instructions on how you can access our webinars, and for you to book a call with us with our relationship growth team. And again, thank you for um, listening in. And for more future webinars for us, just let us know what you want for us to present to you guys. And you can reach us at webinars@imhcmconsulting.com. Thank you and have a great day.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.